G'day, fellas, and welcome to game number 11 of Outback Octagon 3. Today, we visit Sand Reef, and you'll notice that we have a familiar face in the chat. I'm not talking about the chat in the top right-hand corner of our screen, which we did manage to get for this game. I'm actually talking about our purple player over here. You might recognize him as a certain American. Speaking of American, it looks... What's going on with these rocks there? Have a look at those rocks. Those are some space rocks. You know, we'll talk about aliens a little bit later on in this episode, but those are some concerning aspects. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to game number 11. A pleasure to have your company today here on Sand Reef. This map is quickly becoming one of my favorite, if not my favorite FFA maps, just because it does give you an opportunity if you want to play on the edge of the map and play defensive, you can do that. And it looks like we might have two players who have made that decision early on in this game and may both live to regret it. Spawning in the east of the map, in the color green. I say in the east, but it's the center of the map. He's east of the center slightly. In the color green, representing Team United Kingdom, playing as the Ottomans, it's Myriad. To his east, representing Team Germany, also representing Team My Insanity, but we mainly care about him representing Team Germany. In the color teal, playing as the Abbasid dynasty with a very good spawn, it's Zertan. In the south of the map, in the color pink, playing as the Mongols, representing Team Canada, oh Canada, it's Puppy Paw. He is back once again. This guy, the two-time champion of the Outback Octagon. He won the first one, he won the second one, and he's back again to win a third one. Keep an eye on this guy. In the west of the map, in the color yellow, playing as the Chinese, representing Team Spain, it's Lucifron 7. To his west, in the color blue, playing as the Ayyubids, representing Team Poland, it's Matez. In the northwest-ish, in the color orange, playing as the English, representing Team... I want to say representing Team Finland? Am I getting that right? I think it's Finland. Kiljardi, Finland. He looks very Finnish. I'm going to say that right now. It's not Sweden. Is it Sweden? It's not Sweden, is it? It's got to be Finland. I'm going with it. I'm committing. Representing Team Finland, it's Kiljardi. He's on the English as well, so really nice spot for him as... Kaio! No, don't. No, Kaio. Stop. Oh, he loses a villager. Don't do him like that, Kiljardi. What's wrong with you? The English. It was the extra arrows from the English town center. He loses a vill. Poor Kaio. You know, I trust that Kaio will find a home, and he will make a life for himself on this map. I believe. Do you believe? If you believe right now, I want you to take a breath, and I want you to say, I believe. I believe. I believe, Kaio. I believe. We'll introduce Kaio a little bit later, because he hasn't decided exactly where he's going to spawn just yet. But in the north of the map, in the color purple, playing as the Delhi Sultanate, it is not a player that should give you anxiety typically. Unfortunately, Give You Anxiety had a big night last night. I don't know what it involved, but I like to imagine it was a lot of burritos. He probably... Look, there's no easy way to say this. His phone is off. His brother, Soldier, tried to call him, but unfortunately, he didn't answer. So, Soldier didn't step in. Instead, we had to get budget Give You Anxiety. Representing Team Cow. You're from Germany, right? No, where's Cow? He's not from Germany. He's from, I want to say, Denmark? No. Denmark? I'm going to say Denmark. I think it's Denmark. I don't know. I'm looking in the chat. Farman official saying Norway. Norway. I mean, look, I don't want to offend you Scandinavians, but it's like, it's all the same country, right, bro? Like, Finland, Norway, Sweden. I envy you guys. When it comes to, like, the happiness ratings, you guys are always, like, the top 5 countries, like, with Liechtenstein. And then it's just like, and it's all the Scandinavian countries. So like, you know, who really cares? Like, and you don't have borders. You're in the EU. Anyway, Cow, I'm going to call him. He's from Germany. This is Cow. He's from Germany. He's a part of the big milk lobby. Ladies and gentlemen, in the color purple, it is Budget Give You Anxiety, aka Cow. Welcome him. He's technically the admin of this tournament. He's a Conqueror 3 player, and I said, Cow, it would be wonderful if you can stand in, because we want to see what potential you bring to this lobby, because GUA is unfortunately not here. Now, we could have asked a player from tomorrow to play instead, but our schedule's already set a little bit, and we wanted to avoid the complexities of that. So we said, you know what's less complex than that? Making our admin play in the tournament that he has got to administer. Oh, God, don't hurt me, please. All right, Cow, let's, we just want a quick game, an easy game, Cow. The trouble is, though, our 8th player has only just put down his town center at the 6-minute mark. He's got 4 villages and an imperial official. He's playing as the Jussi Legacy, and he's representing Team Japan today. He is Kaio. And he's not in the best spot. If he was out on this arm right here, I would be in a totally different story. Or I'd be happy for Kaio. But this is where he decided to put his roots down. And unfortunately, he's got a neighbor to his north. He's got a neighbor to his east, and he's got a neighbor to his south. Things are not going to go well for Kaio today. But perhaps his neighbors don't pay attention. Perhaps they don't realize. Perhaps they're not looking. Perhaps they unplug their keyboard. Either way, the man can hope. Abu King's now going to start coming up for Kiljadi. We'll check in on the west of the map as our first age up is going to be coming through, and it's Budget Give You Anxiety in the lead as we come around the corner. He's going up with the Tower of Victory, so he could potentially look to get on the water early. Now, one thing to note is that there are docks coming up. It's a bit of a curious timing as to when he's adding this dock, though, because he could have gone early and then done a bit of a boom, or he could have gone no dock at all. Either way, the man's docking. Question's going to be who is it with? Sorry. Oh man, I tell you what, it's one of those days, isn't it? I'm just throwing in the jokes every single time I get the opportunity. All right, Zerton yet to click up, but we do see in the south of the map, Puppy Paw is going to be going up, and it is with the Silver Tree. Now, keep in mind, when it comes to trading on this map, you will have opportunities to do so in the north and the south of the map. We've got these trade posts that are positioned very strategically. So if you can play the Mongols and get yourself a nice little angle, there is definitely the opportunity for you to go big on the trade. Barbican of the Sun going to be coming up for Lucifron. Very defensive. I do like this positioning here. He's obviously scouted out Matiz to his backside with a military wing coming up for him to start off with. Myriad now going to be reaching into the feudal age himself. Salt and Honey Trade Network. Not going to be thinking about trading, though. Very happy with those sorts of trades. Let's take a look and see. Do we have... No, we don't have a boom just yet from Puppy Paw. What's his game plan here? Because he's got a couple of options he can play. He's gone into water, and it is just the shoreline fish in the middle. Keep in mind, we do have the deep water fish as well. But it looks like Cow has now gone into the deep water fish as well. Feudal Age now coming through. Outpost on the gold. Wants to try and keep this safe. Realizes that his enemy is nearby. And Lucifron could look here for a potential castle age. You could think about going into a Song Dynasty. He's got a couple of options open for him. Let's check in on that east side. Zerton. You know, we haven't really talked too much about who we think is going to be the favorite for this game. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Puppy Paw. Anyway, sorry. Puppy Paw is in the game. Puppy Paw's on the Mongols, and while that's not necessarily, you know, like, wow, Puppy Paw, he's on the Mongols. He's got the worst FFA civ. Dude, it's first and foremost, it's Puppy Paw. If there's anyone who knows how to abuse the Mongols, it's Puppy Paw. Second of all, he's isolated. Thirdly, the neighbors that he's got all have neighbors much closer than he has. So here, we've got, you know, you've got Lucifron, who is immediately next to Matiz in this corner, going to be locked in combat with him. Over in the center of the map, Myriad, neighboring to Kaio. And even if he manages to go through Kaio, you think Budget Give You Anxiety is going to let him just sit there? No, sorry, Bob. The only real person I see in this game who actually has a potential to challenge him is Zerton and Kiljadi. I think these two guys' spawns are far away enough that they'll be left alone, but also close enough that they can still get in on the action if they want to. Now, of course, we also have Cow in the north, who could potentially look to get down and dirty with it. We'll have to see what the plan is for him, but I'm going to have to put my money on, if I was a betting guy, and I am, I'd have to put my money on Puppy Paw here. It's, you know, it's always a safe bet when you put your money on the 2-time. It's always a safe bet, you know. It's, yeah, it's good to see. Age up coming through now for Puppy Paw. Going to be going up with the Step Redoubt, throwing it down on the gold vein. I think he's going to be the first one up. No, he's not. He's going to be the second one up. Kiljadi not even messing around with the second town center. Goes straight into the White Tower. Only a handful of fishing boats. But at this point, with that many vills on wood, you'd have to think he would be thinking about going into a second TC at this stage. So what's the plan for him? So goes into it. I mean, that's a lot of vills. Maybe he's just going to go for a kill. Like, you can go for a ram kill here, I guess. That's an option for you. So being a little bit annoying around this backside. Matt is trying to punish Lucifron. Not really able to find too much. I really like this spot from Kiljadi, actually. I'm kind of tempted here to get excited. Now, one other thing to note is that we've got chat in the top right-hand corner. So this is coming from Myriad's stream. So when Myriad gets knocked out, we'll have to do a little bit of switching and swapping around. But hopefully Myriad's not going to get knocked out for a while. Hopefully he's going to be sticking around in the game for a fair bit. Age Up starting to come through, and you can see immediately Puppy Paw pops the King ability and spots out all of the enemies and sees that he's the only one on this bottom portion of the map. He's got it all to himself, and he's going to be so damn happy with that. Honestly, at this point, all he needs to do is just spam out a whole bunch of Keshiks and just sit here and wait and say, okay, now, who do I actually want to kill? Because the option is just, you know, it is so damn open to him. All right, we have ourselves some palisade walls beginning to come up on the east side. Zertan looking to just buy himself a little bit more time. Age up starting to come through. Very passive game so far, and I like that. You know, from the speed of the games that we've already had today, I mean, one of them in particular was quite a quick one. It is nice to be able to watch this game and have a look at this. Lucifron's got a lot of fish to take advantage of. It's a pretty nice central position. Obviously, Zertan on the east side has got the same thing. In fact, we've got 4 pretty primary fishermen out here today. This is looking scary for those that don't have fish. But at this stage, Zertan's going to be aging up as well. So we're right on board with Zertan as he reaches the castle age. And it's going to be with the culture wing that he goes up through. So not going to be going into the eco wing at all. And you can see he's still on that 1 TC. Is he just going fast imp? What's the play here? Myriad now reaching the castle age as well. I didn't actually check what the timing on his stream was, so I'm not 100% sure if we're up to date. But I think we should be up to date with that. Hold on, just give me a sec here. I'm just going to have to quickly check. Sorry. Okay. I think, just give me a sec. We're just going to speed up. I'm going to hit this button right here, just so we're not behind. Just sometimes we do get a bit of lag. Okay, there we go. All right, that way the chat should hopefully come through at the same time. I don't know if the chat's going to work. Whoa! What is this king doing? What is the king doing? Kaya, what are you doing with your king? Is he scouting with the king? What's going on here? He's in trouble. He needs to run this king back right now. He's already popped the movement speed. I think he was just trying to do a little bit of scouting because he still thinks it's early game. But look at this. He might actually be going down right here, right now. Oh my god, look at the amount of units. Puppy Paw comes in and manages to pick up the kill. Kaio goes down. What was he doing with the king? We're going to have to go back and review exactly what the plan was for him. But unfortunately, the player we suspected most to be going down in the game does indeed become the first player knocked out of the game. Unfortunately for Kaio, it was, you know, the deck was stacked against him from the very beginning. It was just kind of a little bit funny that out of all the people that picked it up, it's Puppy Paw. Puppy Paw was the guy who realized, hold on, that's a fish out of water that I'm seeing right there. We need to make a plan and go and take him out. Now, just give me a second. I'm just going to fix things up here on my own PC. Sorry, just give me a sec. All you fellas on YouTube, I know you'll still be watching patiently. Don't worry, I am still here. I'm just making sure that, okay, that's all good. And I just want to make sure I can see this. Okay, wonderful. Okay, we're good. All right, we're back. Okay, so, King out of water once again. But, yeah, so I don't know what was happening with Kaio here, but my suspicion is, remember, he got his town center up at 6 minutes. And normally in FFA, you're getting it up before 2 minutes. So I suspect he was probably thinking to himself, you know, I'm kind of safe here. I'm okay to run the king back here and just kind of like do a quick scout. I guess that's what he was doing. Maybe it was an accident. I don't know exactly what happened, but we'll have to go back and watch the replay and see what happened. But have a look at this. Looks like Cal might be facing the wrath of Myriad early on in this game, trying his best to hold on But unfortunately, those are men-at-arms that he's going to be up against, and he is still only in the feudal age, not electing to go into the castle age. Myriad putting on the pressure. On top of that, he's also got a secondary problem, and that is Zertan from the east side. Cow getting a bit dogpiled early on in this game, 15 minutes through, and he's trying to keep his head above water. Meanwhile, towards the south side, Puppy Paw with all that space is going to start looking for next targets. I can't believe that Puppy Paw gets that kill. That is just ludicrous to me, that out of all the places and all the people, Puppy Paw's the guy that comes marching in and manages to pick it up. And look at this, kill Jardy now as well, sensing that, hold on a minute, is there blood in the water to be had here? Potentially, perhaps, probably. He looks to get in on the action as well. I think this is part of the reason why I didn't really call out Cow's position at the beginning of the game, because while it seems like he's, you know, kind of isolated, his proximity to Kaio makes him a pretty good target because the armies are so damn close. But now he's defending 1v3, trying his best to hold on. Mangonel's come out for Myriad as well. Could look to get down and dirty on that west side. The Keshik number continues to build. Puppy Paw gonna pop that king ability once again. See all the kings flared up on the minimap. But now underneath the town center. Does Puppy Paw look to get over here? Puppy Paw is the kind of guy to run the entire map just to snipe out a king. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see his Keshiks here. You know, the more I think about it, the more I feel like it makes sense that we reduce... I hate doing it, man. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to be a burden on balance, but I can't help but feel like the strength of cavalry, the knight in particular, is just way too strong in FFAs, man. It is a whole nother unit. It is so crazy, man. It gives you insane power, insane leverage across the map. And now, unfortunately for Cow, oh, poor Cow. The majority of the army is dead here. He's got 8 military units with 11 vills inside that town center. Cow counts his days, as unfortunately for him, he's put in a valiant effort, but the deck, like it was stacked against Kaio, has also been stacked against him, as 3 armies look to try and take him out, and his king in particular. But my main question, where's this guy? And where's this guy going? Because you and I know the truth. He pops the king ability. He checks on the status of the town center. I guarantee you he's looking right now. He says, okay, I know where all the kings are, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the damage. I want to see how much damage this town center's got on it. Where are the enemy units in position here? Look where he's going. I guarantee you, look where he's going. He's going straight there, dude. This guy is just on another level. He is thinking so far outside the box. Look at the king. You can see he's trying to bait them out because he wants... is he going for a transport ship? He could do a transport ship. I think he's going to do a transport ship. He's going to try... How do you... So you want them to fight against each other and not kill your town center. That's what you want, but they're not doing it. And it's really annoying. And to be honest, like, you got to be very careful here because that favors Zertan in this position. Vill's going to pop out here. He does have the opportunity to potentially run along the edge here, but keep in mind, there is a sniper on the loose. He might not be American, but he's still technically in North America. So we're going to go ahead and say it. It's the American sniper. And he is looking. He is looming. Mango's going to get taken out. Myriad trying his best to hit the town center. Where is he? Oh, he's coming in for it. He wants it, the king. He's going to try for a transport. Couple demos along the edge. He doesn't have a transport ship. The king, where is he? He's going to pop on the ground, and Puppy Paw going to try for a snipe. Not going to be able to get in there. It looks like Zertan's got the surround, but the Mango from the top rope. Myriad gets the snipe with the Mango now on that king, and Cow goes down, baby. Oh, my lord. Wow, and you hear that second one. That's just going to be the English king going down. Do not fear, but wow. Whew. They get pretty close, these guys. That is for sure. That is, that's kind of what... I'm impressed by the power of Puppy Paw to position his... I'm thinking of a word for army that starts with P. No, I don't have it. To position his army in a way that gets him over here to actually contest this king kill. That is ludicrous. That is insane. Cow obviously could have tried for a transport ship, realized that it wasn't going to be close. He didn't really have a chance. And now, once again, Puppy Paw on the loose. He's in the Imperial Age. Units are upgraded to Elite Keshik now. He continues to be a thorn in the side of many on this map, and Myriad is only but the next man he looks to focus down. Oh, the phalanx. I mean, technically it starts with a P, but come on, man. You know, I couldn't convince the majority of people there was a P in the word phalanx. I mean, I probably could. I played a game when I was younger called Total Annihilation, and there was a unit in it called the Phalanx. It was a good unit. It was a great unit. It was an anti-air unit for the arm. You made it out of the tier 2 vehicle academy. Vehicle plant. It was like a flak cannon on wheels. Oh, man. I miss that game. That was such a good game. I mean, to be fair, we kind of have Beyond All Reason, which is like a Total Annihilation replacement, but it's not really. You know how they, like, remaster games? Imagine if they remastered Total Annihilation. That game, that would just pop off, man. That would be so much fun. Oh, no. Look who's trading if it isn't the brother of Wham who's doing a little bit of trading. It's Puppy Paw. He's doing a bit of trading. He is out. He's on the map. And he's in such an incredible position. Keep in mind, he's already picked up that 1 kill. Zertan's going to get the age up through. Lucifron on the west side realizes that perhaps war might be the best course of action here. And to be fair, Matiz doesn't really look like he might be in position. Keep in mind that he hasn't had access to the water throughout this game. Myriad trying his best to defend here. There is a Mango, but the Bombard should be able to deal with it. Hand Cannoneers able to focus down those frontline units only in the Castle Age at the moment. And another battle continues to rage on the west side. These are going to be our primary fights over the next couple minutes. The Springalds getting off a couple of shots. Last time you're going to be able to see those Springalds. Keep in mind, if you're watching this on YouTube, that maybe the next patch has dropped. But this is still technically on the old patch. So just remember those Springalds at the moment serve as your... oh, have a look at this. Kiljadi getting a little bit on the action. Sees the Zhugs and says, get on out of there. But yes, this is still the old patch. So the Springalds haven't been changed just yet. Puppy Paw now with a Bombard out. Looking to take out a second player in the game. The King inside the town center. It's going to be hard to hold against a man with such power in this game. Manages to move that Bombard forward. He's going to have to fall back away from the enemy position. It looks like he may have done a bit of a miscalculation. Meanwhile, in the west of the map, Ville's getting chased down. Lucifron in the Castle Age. Only a handful of hardened spearmen here to protect him from cavalry, but that's not the main threat. The main threat are those Mangoes. And man, do they go crazy. Let's check in with Kiljadi. Looks like, for the moment, Kiljadi's... he's a happy camper, to be honest. He's got the Berkshire Palace in the corner. He's got the ability to stonewall across the water if he wishes. He's an absolutely fine. But now Ville's gonna get pulled. A lot of siege in here. He's trying his best to take out the Springalds on the back, but remember that these are no ordinary Springalds. These are Clock Tower Springalds. All the Villes come forward. Matt is now 33 Villes. He's trying his best to hold on. But unfortunately, he's just lost a lot. 27 Villes now. So even if he loses, or even if he wins this fight, he will lose the war because the villager advantage is so far in favor of Lucifron. King inside the town center. Repair coming through. Janissary's trying to defend, but the hand cannon is way too strong in this situation, and Myriad looks like he may be making an exit in this game. He's holding on for dear life, and Zertan senses that there's blood in the water as well. This could be terrible. Oh, the hand cannoneers. Look at the hand cannoneers. He's ready. He spots the King. Pop. Hits the Villes. Misses the King. Gets the King. Follows up with the King. And now we switch over our UI. Hopefully that's fixed it up. Hopefully that's made it a little bit better. But unfortunate for Myriad. They're going down as player number 3 in this game. And you can see it's all within this same area. So repeatedly throughout these games, we've had players that are in the middle of the map that just kind of struggle when they're in the middle of the map. If they're not towards the edge, it makes it so much harder. But, I mean, to be fair, we have seen players from the middle do well before as well. So, who knows? Perhaps the theory can go out the window. Stone walls have now come up for Zertan on the edge of the map. He's got a formidable position. This is looking good for him. Now, did Zertan pick up that kill? No, Myriad picked up the kill on budget give you anxiety. So that means that the extra population went with him to the grave. Meanwhile, Puppy Paw has got 2 kills. So he's sitting on that 300 max. So undoubtedly at this point, players in this lobby are looking at Puppy Paw and saying, this is a problem, guys. He's 300 pop. They don't know about the trade. We know about the trade, but, you know, maybe they know about the trade. They should be calling him out. And Matt he's not going to be too much longer in the game to really call out. But I'm sure he'd be singing from the rooftops about how, come on, Lucifron, I'm not the real threat here. The real threat is Puppy Paw. He's got 2 kills, bro. Just let me go. And he's got like 0 vills and 1 military unit, and that single military unit is a king, and he's in the town center. And even though, while technically he is a military unit, oh no, it's not. It's a battering ram. He's got a battering ram somewhere. Where is your ram? Make your way to the ram, king. Where is the ram? Oh, he's here. He's at the back. Go, king, go. But unfortunately for today, Lucifron is going to be able to take out Matiz, and Matiz goes down doing the valiant thing and staying until the very end, forcing Lucifron to keep his army inside the base and just keeps him here for a little bit longer. Delays his next move. King now pops out of the town center for him. Does a little bit of a spot, says, where are we going next? Could look to try and make his way towards Kiljardi. The defense will be strong. He is in the Imperial Age. Elite units are starting to come through. We see elite men-at-arms. So Lucifron would be fighting an uphill battle. On top of that, to his south, he's got Puppy Paw, who is, of course, in the Imperial Age and is, of course, in a wonderful position. Have a look at this. He's got down on the south side, the king in an outpost. Main town center is down here as well. And he's going to start throwing down a lot of outposts around this town center just to keep it safe. You don't have walls, but you don't need walls when you're playing the Mongols. And have a look at this. We've got a couple of elite Gulams making their way down. More walls in the plans for Zertan. He's looking to try and take control of more of this map. So if you had to give your advantage to somebody, would your answer change? You know, earlier we said it was either Puppy Paw, Kiljardi, or Zertan. We spread the net wide. But now as the game draws to the 27-minute mark, is there somebody here that you favor a little bit more than the other? For me, I don't think so. I mean, you'd have to give your advantage to Puppy Paw because of the population, but once again, this can work as a negative. It allows people to easily put a target on your back. But he's going to look to try and push out here. And Lucifron, on the defensive, is going to throw down a keep. Keep in mind, he is no slouch when it comes to defending. He's going to try his best to hold on. There is some siege here that should be able to deal with the keep already positioned, ready to focus, and the hand cannoneer number is incredible right now for Puppy Paw. 52 hand cannoneers. He rolls over the top of this Chinese army. The keep comes up on time. He garrisons the villages, hoping to keep himself alive a little bit longer, but the double bombard threat. Oh, the double bombard threat. The double bombard threat. Explosive junks, wake up. Wake up, explosive junks. Oh, poor Lucifron. Poor Lucifron. He had an opportunity right there. I don't know whether he would have been able to find it. No. I don't think it would have mattered, to be honest. I feel like, oh, damn. Oh, jeez. Oh, definitely not Lucifron, or rather Puppy Paw to be the favorite. King does a little bit of our bunny hop. Now, keep in mind, he can hop this bad boy around because of the way that he positions when he comes out of the tower. So he jumps out, throws him in this outpost. Now he's going to look to try and get him back over here. Doesn't, manages to come through. He plays whack-a-mole with him, gets him back to the safe one. He's making his way up to the town center. He's so damn cheeky and sneaky. Meanwhile, in the main base, the army has just gone idle. He doesn't care too much about it. He's focusing on the king. He's focusing on keeping himself alive and manages to get the king back to the town center. And the army obliterated right there, says to Zertan, get out of here, mate. You know, I'm dealing with stuff over here in the base of Lucifron. Jeez. How does he do it, man? That is... that is so impressive, isn't it? Isn't that so impressive? You know, whenever I talk about Mongols in FFA, this is one of the things I highlight in the late game, and I don't think I've ever actually seen it done as well as it was just done. Like, how do you even deal with that? Unless you've got enough bombards in position to one-shot those outposts and kill the king as soon as he pops into one of those outposts, like, you can't really do much. And speaking of kings... You're in trouble right now. This bombard is about to get through this Barbican. And if he does, that's going to put Puppy Paw in prime position to win this game. Lucifron is down to 35 population. And this is part of the reason. Where's the king? There's the king. The king is dead. Puppy Paw takes it out. This is part of the reason why we encourage players, or not encourage, it's part of the reason why it's in the rules. Players just can't give up in this situation because think of the amount of time that Puppy Paw has had to invest in killing Lucifron. When Lucifron could have thrown in the towel 90 seconds ago. And now all of a sudden, it means that there's been 90 extra seconds for Kiljardi to get into position, for Zertan to get into position. Now granted, Zertan, he struggled with the position, but... you know, it's about the idea, right? It's the concept of it. So at this stage of the game, we do see the chat. We can see that Lucifron has left the match, but I would suspect at this point Kiljardi, as well as Zerton, are going to be getting together on their their EU, their Schengen zone vibes together, and saying, "Hey, man," they wouldn't be speaking in English, probably a different language because they're European, but they'd be like, you know, "Bonjour, je m'appelle Kiljardi. I know I'm from Finland, but I'm speaking French. Do you want to voulez-vous coucher avec toi?" and then, you know, Zerton would respond. He's German, so he would say, "Yeah, I do, yeah." All right, let's take a look and see how this trade is doing, as the new trade route has now been established for Puppy Paw. Okay. Whew. I'm kind of glad I put my money on Puppy Paw in the early game. I said, you know, if you had to pick someone, how could you go past Puppy Paw? And I feel like it's paying dividends at this point. Like, this guy is going crazy right now. Look at this. How many traders are we talking? We're talking 41 traders on this Silk Road right now. Whew. Jeez. Wow. Oh my lord. That's a lot of trade. So, how do you go about defeating Puppy Paw? Number one is you got to cut off his leg, and his leg is a huge component of his legs right now are his trade network. So that's going to be number one. So we need to work to try and take down this. I love the fact that we've got stone walls up for both Kiljardi and for Zerton, protecting their inside, protecting the inside of their base. Now, one other thing to note is that you can't ignore the other guy. Even though you are technically friends in this situation and you guys are going to work together to take down Puppy Paw, you still always have to have that presence of mind to be thinking, okay, what am I going to do the moment we take down Puppy Paw? Like, I need to have a plan in place to be able to take him down. And I think that's really important. You can't be reliant on, okay, I'm going to try and snipe the king. That's you can't be thinking about that. So already these two would be thinking those you know, extra steps ahead. All right, well, a little bit of a battle here. Puppy Paw going to easily defend against this. Obviously has an incredibly sized army. One thing to note, though, is at this stage of the game, neither of these players seem particularly interested in committing to taking down Puppy Paw. And this is a huge problem. Because Puppy Paw, he's not just 350 max pop. He's got a huge standing army. 124 military population at the moment. And even if you add the other two guys together, that doesn't even come close to what Puppy Paw's got. So you'd look over here in the east and you'd say, yeah, this is a nice little defense. But these two need to start working together. They need to start thinking about attacking Puppy Paw and coordinating. And this is a huge part of FFA. It's coordinating and making sure that you take fights at the same time. You want Puppy Paw ideally to split his army up and fight in two places at once. And if you can't do that, you want to try and fight him together 2 times at once, or 2 armies at once. On a map like this is perfect for fighting from 2 different angles. You can push from the north, and then you can push from the east. And if Puppy Paw's army makes its way towards you, you fall back. And the general idea is that you continue pushing until Puppy Paw pushes back, in which case you fall back, and then you wait for the other guy to say, okay, I'm pushing, you can go now. And it's this very careful game of slowly picking up inches off him, but that's really the only way you're going to be able to contest somebody like Puppy Paw. But the truth is, he may already be too far ahead to contest at this stage of the game. He's going to spot out the kings. He sees that they are safely tucked away inside the keeps in the corners. Even though we technically can't see this keep or this king on the minimap. I mean, actually, no, I take it back. We can see the king on the the keep on the minimap. It's just the king is inside. Like the one here in the north is in the Berkshire. So let's take a look at the base of Puppy Paw. The base is incredibly well built. This is very difficult to snipe. Mainly because if you try and snipe this king, you've got to run through all of these pastures, and it's gonna chop up your army. It's gonna give you a lot less surface area. The king, obviously, we've seen how he plays whack-a-mole with the outposts. Good luck trying to keep him down. And now towards the north, have a look at this as Puppy Paw tries his best to defend his trade route. He knows that they would be coming for it. And so looks to try and defend with Baochuans. Holding on for dear life. The Baochuans will go down. You can see just how effective the bombards are against them. And it's only a matter of time until Kiljadi says, hey, if you want to defend your trade route, you're going to need to bring your army up here. And remember, if he brings the army to defend up here in the north, then it's not going to be at home in the south to defend. And for the moment, it seems like Puppy Paw thinks that this is a trade worth holding. However, it looks like we're on the move. Looks like we've got a little bit of a splits coming in. Puppy Paw attempting his gymnastics. Not a lot of defense in the north. Kiljadi very clearly demonstrating that he wants to come into position here. Looking to try and drop the keep down. Bombards are here. Reboldiquins are here. A lot of siege in the back line, actually. This is a huge amount of siege. I don't think Puppy Paw is going to get here in time. But just remember, even though the market may die or may move, it's the traders that really matter in this situation. Now, granted, you can rebuild the traders, but denying this positioning is very, very important. Huge amount of Keshiks. 32 Keshiks looking to come up towards this northern position. There are Reboldiquins on standby, and the Vils are going to try. But have a look at this. What's happened to the Vils? The Vils have just kind of gone down, and looks like he's going to try his best to take them out. Randy, you got to wake up right now, son. You got to try your best. There we go. Randy wakes up. Rips through the Keshiks. Hand cannoneers together as well, but the bombards go down, and he gets great value out of these Keshiks. A lot of siege going down on the north side. But the Randy Reboldiquin, oh man, I tell you, if there's one unit I wish we could see the kill count for, it would be the Reboldiquin. An absolute god tier unit. It stands against the test of the Keshik and says, no, you might be a knight or a Keshik, but I am a true god amongst men. The keep comes online, and with that, the market moves a little bit further away. Meanwhile, towards the east of the map, you can see that Zertan now working well together with Kiljadi. Once again, I'm not 100% sure whether these guys are communicating. And can I just say, I don't know whether the chat is in the right position or not. It could just be that I have messed up the chat. I tried my best to get the right positioning on it, but I could just be completely off. So, Cal, I don't know if you're listening to me. If you are, if you could just, for the next match, just make sure the guys don't start, just so I can fix up the chat for the next match, please. Because I suspect I probably don't have it right. Oh, people in the chat. I can see Forsen in the chat right now saying that the chat is fine. It's just nobody's chatting. Okay, thank you. They don't need to chat. They know what they need to do. And I think that's the difference between them and me. These guys are professionals. I'm trying my best just to entertain. Mangoes on the back, looking to try and find some decent shots here. He's picked the center of mass. Finds it, but Puppy Paw moves a little bit forward. Only loses a handful of hand cannoneers. Not too bad. Meanwhile, towards the north, does a little bit of a dance. Meanwhile, towards the north, he has held for the moment. He's got a number of hand cannoneers up there. I don't think he's going to be dealing with any further pushing for the time being. All right, Puppy Paw, have a look at the score. That gives you a great indication as to his positioning right now. 20,000 versus 10 and 12k. Keep in mind, in the game, they can't actually see the scores. They don't know what the score is. But they would know that, hold on a minute, Puppy Paw, he does have 3 kills and we've got none. So we probably want to work together, and that's exactly what they do, is they work to try and take this guy down. An absolute god right now. He is just playing incredibly out of his mind. And, you know, you really have to credit him as a player, because you might look at that, you know, that early king snipe that he got over here, and you go, wow, you know, that was really lucky. Bro, that wasn't lucky. That was not luck. There's a reason why he's won twice. This guy is not lucky. That was all intentional. That was all planned. He knew what was happening, and he positioned himself in a way to get there and make it happen. And the reason he's able to win, or at least be in the winning position right now through this game, because keep in mind, this is live. We've got no idea who actually wins this game, but the reason why he's in such a great position now is because of that early king kill. He's been able to leverage the extra population to defend in this 2v1 situation. And now, securing up his positioning once again. 50 traders still effectively trading. Puppy Paw's economy is massive. 170 vils. Now, granted, he's up against a collective of 239 vils, but he's still in the ballpark when it comes to the villager count. 180 military versus the 70 and 83 of his opponent, so still with a slight lead in that regard. The Baochuans continue to patrol, doing their best to evade the men-at-arms, hoping to not face the same fate as the warships that came before it and went down to cavalry instead. Another little attack. Kiljadi trying. Not going to be able to intercept traders just yet, but he's going to slowly work back his enemy. Landmarks have gone down. Steppered out. And that could be a focus of these players. They could just elect to go after landmarks. But you've got to remember, playing against the Mongols, there's always the risk they look to run their landmarks away. Many a game we've seen players like Corvinus, who escaped to the country, say, you'll never catch me. You'll never get this. Just leave that landmark sitting in the corner. Part of the reason why we actually don't award points for positioning anymore is because sometimes you get Mongol players that just hide a landmark in the corner and you can't find it. They end up coming second. It's like, well, we won't do that anymore. All right, so at this stage in the game, clear advantage over to Puppy Paw, but Zertan is kicking it in to 5th gear. He's slowly coming online. 15k score, Kiljadi with 11k score. Decent size economies for both of these players. 131, 109. And now that push is starting to really kick it up on the south side. He's slowly he's trying to break down these outposts. The bombards are moving forward very aggressively. Looks like they might be taking inspiration from their Springwood counterparts and be looking for a kiss as they... Out of all the things those bombards could have done, I feel like that probably should have been the 14th thing on the list. It is not particularly high up there, but you know, he got value. He had given the commands that he should have to the Culverin to the bombards. The bombards were going after the enemy bombard. Poor little bombards. All right, well, on two fronts he fights, trying his best to defend. It won't really be a question of if, but a question of just how overwhelmingly his defense will be. And now we think about, okay, what other routes does he have here? He could go for a wonder. That's definitely a possibility for him in this situation. A sacred victory is not really going to be possible. And I don't think a sacred victory is really going to be possible for either of these guys while Puppy Paw is still alive. Because if Kiljadi even tries to attempt a sacred victory, it will result in his immediate evacuation from this game. It will be very dangerous for him to take both the sacred sites. He can take one. Heck, he can even take two. Just don't fortify it. If you fortify it, we're going to have a problem. So that's something that you want to avoid. I tell you what, playing as the Mongols, it must be so frustrating in FFA not to have access to walls. I think I've only played the Mongols in FFA like maybe 2 or 3 times. And every single time I've ended up raging. I actually uploaded the video, like one video of me playing FFA as Mongols in this one specific game that I played, where I had like one guy who just like focused me down from like the 4th minute in the game, and I was just raging. I'm like, why are you doing this, buddy? Like, you don't need to do this. Like, it's an FFA, it's not a 1v1, and I kind of regret posting it because it wasn't my best hour. Let's just put it that way. But it's not fun playing the Mongols in FFA. Let's just put it that way. They're a very tilting civilization, and the lack of walls is now evidenced by that tilting as Puppy Paw tries to run his traders away from the men-at-arms, but obviously they're not doing particularly well. Mongols in FFA, not a fun time. Looks like he is going to be able to make his way back. I think it might be a good idea to get some outposts across this small little, what would you call this? Isthmus? How do I pronounce that word? Isthmus. There's a map in Bar called Isthmus. I feel like that S and T in there is silent, right? It's just Isthmus. Isthmus? Nah. Isthmus. I feel like I've got a lisp trying to say that. I don't even know if that's what you'd call it. Is it a peninsula? No, it's not a peninsula. A peninsula is like this is a peninsula. Right? Perhaps. All right. So, the other thing to note is Puppy Paw's got a long way to actually get into the base of his opponent. So, like, with Zertan over here and Puppy Paw in this corner, the further his army stretches and tries to attack Zertan, then the more that emboldens Zertan to say in the chat, hey, Kiljadi, go and attack him now. His army's literally in my base. So, it becomes a very delicate balancing act here for Puppy Paw allocating the resources out. How many resources do I actually want to allocate to my defense versus to this attack? So that's a consideration that he's going to make. But the fact that he's coming through here, look at the amount of resources he's able to pick up off each of these bombards. Every time he gets a kill, he's got that improved bounty. Also gets that extra stone as well coming through. It feels incredible doing this as the Mongols. And he's actually got a huge reserve of resources in the bank now, crossing that 25k benchmark. Now, Kiljadi, of course, no slouch either. He's technically going for a sacred victory at the moment, but I wouldn't be too alarmed by this. If I was Zertan, I'd be like, okay, we're not really that fussed about this. Now, Zertan should probably start singing. Zertan, at this point, you really want to be saying out loud, like, hey, Kiljadi, brother, I know you got the sacred site. Son, I know you're thinking about it, but don't do it, please. Don't do it. Now, I can't imagine that. Is Puppy Paw going to take this threat seriously? There's a part of me that thinks he's just going to move up here, neutralize the sacred sites, and then just come back. And it looks like that's probably what he's going to do. He could also just be looking to clear this positioning out. Battering ram working down the silver tree. This could be landmark number 2 that goes down. Keep in mind, he did lose the step redoubt in the middle of the map a little bit earlier. So this could technically be landmark number 2, and that does make it slightly easier to snipe out the landmarks. So that is another option. Another thing we'll have to keep on the cards. And yeah, Puppy Paw is just going to play it safe here. This is kind of a smart move from Puppy Paw, because look at this Kiljadi. Kiljadi, what are you doing, buddy? It ain't happening, Chief. Get out of here. You can't fortify. Kiljadi, don't sign your own death notice, my friend. Like, this is... That ain't it. You got to work together. You got to try and take down the big dog. And it ain't going to be a sneaky little sacred victory that is going to be coming to your saving today. Immediately, the keep gets eliminated. And Kiljadi says, oh, okay. All right, that's... I hadn't considered that. That is a great point. Sorry. Smart move by Puppy Paw, honestly. But this also buys Zertan a little bit more time by doing this. And actually allows him to get behind enemy lines. And this could be a bit awkward. Okay, so I was going to say, it could allow him to potentially sandwich here. Vils are going to start making their way down. Sacred Site is neutralized. The victory is off the cards for at least the moment. And in the west of the map, the secondary town center is going to be pressured once again. Now, where's the trade? Trade is still happening, but it's been pretty effectively dealt with at the moment. He's got a long way to go with these traders, but they're doing work. All right, it looks like Puppy Paw's push is going to continue. This is a huge army, by the way. How do you even deal with this? Like, there's a part of me that thinks you got to start running the king now, because if you leave the king here, he's going to die. Right? Like, you want to move the king to the north and try and buy as much time as you can to try and take out Puppy Paw. But I don't think you can face him head on. Like, the army's just too big. It's 233 population. He's actually deleted Vils because he's realized, you know, I've got so much pop space here. I'm going to be fine if I just delete some Vils. I don't need all that economy. And now that he's broken through the stone walls, is he just fallen back? Is he just buying himself space? God, it's so incredible watching him play. It's like, it's really like watching an artist. Just the way he's carving out little positionings here and there. Meanwhile, Kiljadi to the north continues to bolster those sacred sites. He's definitely got his eye on the sacred sites. He's like, okay, this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna do the sacred sites, and they're not gonna look at the timer, and then we're gonna win. I'm sorry, Kiljadi, I got bad news for you, brother. There's this big gong that goes off at 3 minutes, and it tells everybody. It's a sad state of affairs for Kiljadi. I think he's still in with a chance, though. Like, every single one of these players is still 100% in with the chance at this stage. It really just comes down to how well Puppy Paw can defend and how well the other two can coordinate on the offensive. Army's going to come out here. A lot of culverin in this piece. Elite Camel Riders falling back away from the Springalds. Now, keep in mind, these Springalds have 13 tiles of range. So they're more effective at doing the job of the culverin than the culverin is. And you watch these fights, as long as he's got... How many springs does he have? I think he's got a decent amount, but I thought they were locked out of heaven for a bit. There they are. Almost getting caught out of position there. You don't want to lose your Springalds this early in a fight, especially to some Camel Riders. I tell you what, I can feel a bit of a sneeze coming on right now, so if I sneeze, I'll try and mute my mic, but I don't know if I'll get it on in time. You know how you can feel the sneeze coming? And, you know, I'm not trying to suppress it, but I'm thinking, you know, the more you think about it, the more it'll maybe go away. That's not how a sneeze works, Strongo. If your body needs to sneeze, it's gonna sneeze, my friend. But it is getting a bit cold here in Australia. It's been a lovely day, though. We had a lovely day here in Melbourne today. But, Bombards. He's trying to go for a pincer move. Mango's moving up, able to do some decent damage on the cavalry. That was actually a really nice position here. He's found a really good spot against the wall. And now the Calves pushing forward, looking to try and snipe out the Springs on the back, but the Springlets have got slightly more range. Exposing themselves towards the front, and Puppy Paw's going to run over the top of him. He's made a huge connection here. All of the Keshiks on top of those Culverin, and with that, the Springlets remain alive, and the Bombard's going to be able to clean up the rest. Beautiful micro coming out with the hand cannoneers as well. Kiljardi, you got to ask the question, where is he right now? We need Kiljardi to be pushing somewhere, to be doing something. There's units towards that west side, but for the moment, Kiljardi just seems to be chilling out with the sacred sites. And you got to remember that when it comes to these types of FFAs, the advantage is with the player that's got more population, because he has got the agency of a single individual. He doesn't need to coordinate. The only thing he's coordinating are the hemispheres of his brain. Left hemisphere, right hemisphere. That's it. When it comes to Kiljardi and Zertan, though, they've got to coordinate with each other. And it can be a little bit harder making those hands talk to each other. Indeed, I have to agree with that, Ghazi Raider. Ghazi Raider? Horseman. That was exactly right. Zertan now looking to get a bit of a push going on after just getting absolutely mincemeated? Getting thrown in the meat grinder at that last battle. He says, you know what? Let's do it again. Let's do it again. All right, so let's check in with Kiljardi. So Kiljardi, remember I spoke earlier about how once you've taken out Puppy Paw, like, you need to have an immediate plan in place to deal with the other guy. You can't just be going like, okay, we took out Puppy Paw, great work everybody, now what's next? Like, okay, let's all take a 5-minute breather and then we'll meet in the middle to have a real battle. Like, that's not what happens when it comes to FFA. Like, the moment Puppy Paw's king is taken out, it is just like, it's bloodbath straight away. So you need to have a plan in place as to what you're going to do. And Kiljardi has already got that plan in place. It is all of this production up here. This production is not here because he didn't have space in his main base. This production is here because he knows the moment that Puppy Paw goes down, he needs to start producing units in this area, because this is where the next battle is going to be, because that's where Zertan is. So we'll keep watching with a fine eye, and this could be, honestly, this could be a long game. I wouldn't be surprised right now if this becomes one of the longest games in Octagon history. And that's because of one reason. Kiljardi. Kiljardi, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong here, chat. Kiljardi doesn't play a lot of FFA. So when it comes to understanding, like, he's an incredibly talented player, right? Like, in a 1v1 situation, he is going to do incredibly well. But FFA is a little bit different from 1v1. There are a lot more niche things that you need to know about Age of Empires than what you need to know in a 1v1. And a huge component of that is knowing how to communicate. Knowing how to tell your allies when to go in, when to fall back. It is a massive component of high-level FFA. And this could be one of those things where just because Kiljardi's a great player doesn't mean he's a great FFA player. It's part of the reason why you see the top players on the FFA ladder aren't the same top players on the 1v1 ladder. It's because it's a different skill set that's required. It's also because the guys on the top 1v1 ladder aren't always playing FFA. But have a look at this. Absolute demolish army. Like, I'm just throwing words out here because, like, look at the size of this. You can't just be walking down to the man's base and thinking, I'm gonna go. Oh my god, look at the amount of bombards he's just able to throw away right here as well. You know, it gets difficult as well at this point, because when you've got a mobile army like the Mongols do, like these hand cannoneers, 1.29 movement speed. Like, these are not slow hand cannoneers. They're quite fast. It means if you're pushing with any kind of siege, that there is a risk that you're going to lose those if you push up. But now, over towards the main base, more units going to get cleaned up, and I can't help but feel like it's only a matter of time until Puppy Paw has enough with these players, and he says, you know what? I'm just gonna take you out. Like, look at the size of this army. Look at the amount of the siege he's got. Wow. All right. Let's take a look and see over on the east side how Zertan's doing. It looks like he's trying to solidify his position in the middle of the map here. And have we got a little bit of friendly fire here? I wouldn't say it's friendly fire because it's an FFA and everyone's fair game. But the men-at-arms do seem quite intent on chasing back these villagers. Looks like he's just going to siege down the outpost and say, hey, look, I don't appreciate you putting outposts down on my gold veins. Please don't do that. Thanks. You know, stay in your lane, buddy. That sort of thing. Let's take a look at trade and see how it's doing. Keep in mind, Puppy Paw was reliant on trade throughout the mid-game. He pushed that gold. Still decent trade. Honestly, 68 gold a route is like still very, very good trade. Obviously, it's not the 120 or whatever it was that this one was. This is still good. Still really... Okay. Well, Puppy Paw built a wonder. Okay. All right. Puppy Paw built a wonder. Now, we can still technically undercut on the sacred site. If we want to try for that. I don't see how either player is going to do that. Because number one, Kiljardi is completely cemented in this position. You would have to take him out if you were going to take this sacred site. Number two, Zerton is very happily positioned in a way that says, well, if I wanted to, I could drop a whole bunch of production on this sacred site as well. So I don't think we're looking at a potential undercut situation. We're going to have to work together. We're going to need to bring villagers down here. We're going to need to build forward bases. And we're going to need to stick this thing out together. Let's see if this promotes Kiljardi to get into the battle, to get his head in and say, you know what, maybe I'll stop that, you know, that classic Scandinavian mindset of talking to no one and just keeping my head down. Hey, I'll be honest. I love you Scandinavian guys. I think it was this video, right? I was talking about it. Talking about cow. Like, I'm envious of the Scandinavians. Yeah. If it wasn't for the fact that you guys get 3 hours of sunlight a day, I would consider moving there. Also, it's quite an expensive country. It's an expensive region to live in. Here I am, like, I'm trying to be nice to the Scandinavians, and they're just, like, copying all of these strays. Sorry, Scandinavians. I love you guys. Okay? And if my envy comes out in ways like that, then so be it. Oh, Zerton pushing forward. But sir, I'll be honest with you, you don't have much of an army other than the Bombards. And the Bombards look great, and they look fearsome. But I do fear for your army. Have we got Vils that have moved up? We do. He's building forward bases, which is what he needs to be doing right now. Alright. Is Kiljardi going to start doing the same thing? Okay, we do have Vils that are moving up. This is perfect. This is exactly what he needs. Take your villagers from the middle, move them up, start to get that forward base going. Of course, his army is going to get completely blitzed on this front side. Let's take a look at the defense for Puppy Paw. If he fell into the position of having to defend, what does he have? So, I would say there's not a huge amount of defense back here. Like, normally when it comes to the Monument of the Great Khan, there are outposts around it on every single angle. You have cannon emplacements in all of them. It's one of those things that you often see in FFA. I think, was it Core that we saw in Outback Octagon 2? Building a wonder on an island that got sniped with 3 seconds to go by the Balshwans? I want to say that's what we saw, but my memory may be serving me incorrectly. And I just remember that Monument of the Great Khan just having 1,000 outposts around it. Not really, because the island wasn't that big. It was more like 100. But you guys get the idea. I also remember there was a game with Sort of where he was playing Mongols, and he took all 3 sacred sites, and he put he actually had 180 outposts, and all of them had cannon emplacements in them. The hashtag only Mongol things. You know, in the early game it's not fun, and in the late game it's not fun either, but once you get to this stage, it starts to feel a little bit better as the Mongols. Alright. Let's take a look at Kiljardi's navy. Nothing happening over here. No docks. We do have a dock. We've got a carrack. He is going to start putting docks down. Wait. Why are you guys... Like, honestly, at this stage, Zerton needs to delete... Like, you want to delete these keeps. You don't want your ally... Oh. Ooh. Zerton's deleting a little bit of his village account by the looks of it. That is a big boy army. Now, keep in mind, Puppy Paw has still got 250 on the army count. So he's got a huge army. The only thing is he needs to kind of divide it up. So, at this stage of the game, this is where it's imperative that Kiljardi comes out of his turtle shell and starts communicating. So Springles are going to get some decent shots off down here. Still a huge army for Puppy Paw, even though he has technically divided up this hand cannoneer mass. Springles are going to be able to come through, and we can start to see why they're so powerful. Culverin's going to be able to focus them down in the back line. You want to avoid a direct confrontation here. So you see how Zertan's taking this fight? He shouldn't be taking this fight. And the reason why is because he wants to wait for Kiljadi to join the fight as well. Zertan now looking to try and hit that back line, but the Springled number is incredible here. And his first army towards this wonder is getting obliterated. It's not even close. Puppy Paw doesn't even dip below 300 population. He's having a field day as he cleans up the Abbasid army. Now, you might be wondering, where is the wonder timer? Unfortunately, we still haven't fixed it up. We should have it fixed up for next week because we'll need a new patch or a new mod for the new patch. So we'll have it fixed up then. But, yeah. You'll hear the gongs. You'll hear the gongs. In fact, we should probably switch over to Kiljadi so that we make sure we don't miss those gongs, because I know when you're an enemy, you always hear the gongs. I think even if you own the wonder, you'll still hear the gongs. But, yeah, so one of the key tenets here, which I've obviously been harping on 1,000 times before, is that we're fighting against Puppy Paw at the same time. So in this situation, what should be happening is Zertan should be saying to Puppy Paw, hey, Zertan should be saying to Kiljadi, like, hey, I'm going to attack him. Are you ready to attack him as well? And Kiljadi says, yeah, I'm ready. Okay, let's both go. And when you see the army, that's when you pull back. You pull back your army, and then when you don't see an army, you push army forward. That's the general idea, and that's how you would take this out in this position. Because you got to remember, you're fighting such an uphill battle. He's 350 pop at this stage of the game. Fully maxed out. He's got a lot of resources in the bank. More than enough to stave off any issues that he'll have with these pesky English and Abbasid players. Bombard. Gonna get picked off before it can even come through. Kiljadi, how's he doing on the army numbers? Still rallying more units across the map. Let's check in on that east side. As Zertan's struggling as well. We can see Zertan. Oh no. Oh no, this is bad. Oh no. Zertan deleted all of his vills and he ran out of resources. Now he's sitting on less than 700, 800 resources. He needs to rebuild everything. He's got trade ships out. Oh, this is going terribly. This is going terribly. He deleted all the vills, but then he lost the army immediately. Like, it wasn't even close either. Like, Puppy Paw barely had a dent. And the worst part is Puppy Paw has still got 97 villages. This is the consequence of getting those early kills. And I mean, this is just why Puppy Paw is just head and shoulders above the rest. You know, when you watch games like this, there's thoughts that come into your mind, at least for me in particular, where it's like, you know, should we nerf the king? You know, instead of giving it 50 pop, should we give it 40 pop? And the truth is, if you do that, you're just nerfing Puppy Paw. Like, you're just watching Puppy Paw play and saying, you know, that's kind of lame, that's too strong. Remember how they used to nerf Siege back in the day? Because Beastie would play Siege and it would be so busted when Beastie did it, and they nerfed Beastie by doing it? We'd be nerfing Puppy Paw if we did that. I think we'll leave it the same here. I guess it just, you know, it just plays into the strength of Puppy Paw, I guess. Have a look at that, just as he continues to kite away with the hand cannoneer mass. Look how big that mass is. Nothing even gets close to it. The hand cannoneers just obliterate the men-at-arms on the front. He's having a lovely time up here. I think he might try and clear out this forward base. Wants to avoid the siege workshops ideally from coming up here, because if you've got siege on the front, it can become a real hassle. Kiljadi, look at the resources he's got in the bank. Still 117 vills, yet to delete any of them. In a 1v1, that would be the right call, but when you've got more than, have a look at this, 42, 67, when you've got more than 80,000 resources in the bank, it's normally a good idea that you know, hey, you know, you could delete the villas if you want. If you want, you could delete the villages. Optional. But the worst part is, even if you delete all of them, you're still not going to come close to Puppy Paw. And that's why we got to work together. Zertan now trying to rebuild. He's up to 1,255 food. It feels like it's only a matter of time until Puppy Paw says, are you guys even trying? Come on, hit me. The defense. I mean, the Monument of the Great Khan now has outposts around it. We see the cannon emplacements are slowly coming through. There's an opportunity here to go for a snipe. And you could technically go for it. The trouble is, the cannon emplacement is the perfect tool to deal with snipes. And by the way, we've still got this absolutely huge army here. 95 units. Despite having this absolutely huge army here, 85. And then we got another 43. So if you try and go for a snipe on the Monument of the Great Khan, there are two things working against you. The first one is if you right-click the Monument of the Great Khan, all of your units are going to path on top of each other. And when they do that, they no longer have collision, which means they can run on top of each other. And that might seem like a great idea for when you're trying to path towards the Monument of the Great Khan. The only trouble is, cannon emplacements have AoE on them, area of effect damage. And because of that, they absolutely destroy units that try and do that. On top of that, when you've got buildings like this that are also closely built together, it funnels the units through so that even if you don't right-click on the Monument of the Great Khan and just right-click on you know, the ground over here, they will still funnel up on top of each other, albeit a lot less, and as a result, they just get demolished by the cannon emplacements. But not that that really matters. Puppy Paw has a huge army at home, ready to defend, and even if the Monument of the Great Khan goes down, he's still in the game. He's still, you know, in the driver's seat for this game. 22 Springalds, by the way. 22 Springalds with the 13 range. These are the best Springalds in the game. I'm so glad that Siege is getting changed because I hate the fact that these haven't been nerfed. You nerfed the Rus ones like a year ago, and these have just been sitting here under the radar now for years. And I've been complaining. You could go back into secret Discord servers of me complaining about Springald, the Mongols having 13 range Springalds. Like, why do they get 13 range Springalds? Why? You know, the Springald is such an instrumental unit. To have a significant range advantage like that over enemy Springalds is just so stupid. I can't stand it. And it means in situations like this, you're never going to be able to really siege him in a conventional way with bombards. You're going to have to use, at best, trebuchets. That's really the only way you're going to be able to do it. And even if you do, the Springalds are just going to push up anyway out of their safety net and still be able to take you out, and you can't really hit them back with a response. It's only once these Springalds start getting to like 22 Springalds where you're like, okay, it's a stupid amount of Springalds. I don't even think range matters at this point, and you're right, it doesn't. Springalds have nothing to do with this victory. Interesting point. Even if you were to kill Puppy Paw's entire army, he still just rebuilds 163 Kashyyyks. That's kind of wild. It's also kind of crazy how he is now pushing out of his own base in towards the enemy base, and he's just like, okay, if you guys aren't gonna come to me, I'll come to you. Let's see what you got going on out here. And after the forward base has been cleaned up completely, Kiljadi has decided to delete some villages. He's down to 64 vills now. You can't help but feel like JoJo's hit single from 2003 is just playing over and over again. In this game, it's too late. Oh, yeah, I like it. I like it. I like it. Might be too little too late on this front. But it's not too little too late on this front. You know what he's thinking about, don't you? Come on, Kiljadi. Let's see if you can do it. Claim a couple of points for yourself. Zertan knows. Zertan knows. He says, oh, I'm not going down without a fight, my friend. You know, oh, look at this. Look at this. He spotted him out. Yep. They both resigned to the fact that Puppy Paw is winning this game, and there's nothing either of them can do about it. And so instead of working together, they turn on each other. Kiljadi now, with his last breath in this game, grabs his hand from his pocket and reveals a revolver with a single bullet remaining. He pops the king ability. He spots the enemy king. He right-clicks the keep and says, I'm coming. He says, just hold on. I'm coming home. Pointing the revolver towards the lifeless body of Zertan. Zertan with but 9 villagers remaining and an army of 63 puts his king in the keep at the back, and I wouldn't be surprised at this point in the game if we start to see all these horsemen make their way. Actually, I take it back. Those weren't Kashyyyk. He's got 60 seconds. Okay, we got 60 seconds. I thought it might have been a race for the wonder, but it turns out it was not. He didn't have long left to go, but Kiljardi says there will be blood in the water today. It's just going to be the blood of Zertan, not the blood of Puppy Paw. He focuses down the first gate. Has he got time? The Keshiks make their way to the back, and Zertan, with great strength, with great resilience, with tenacity, says, "You shall not snipe!" The gates go down. The bombards make their way forward. Don't make the mistake of going for the one at the front. You got to go straight to the one at the back. He needs to keep the knights alive. Just a handful of knights will be fine. And now the bombards seek to try and take down the keep before the final bell rings. But I don't think he's got the steam in him. He points the revolver, but the revolver misfires. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Zertan makes it all the way to the end, but unfortunately Puppy Paw still comes out with the victory. Wow, that was an incredible game right there. I gotta be honest with you, you know, I think we need to do a lesson in teamwork right there, in working together, you know, what to do in a situation where you're 2v1 against the big boy in the corner. Ladies and gentlemen, Puppy Paw comes out on top with an absolutely flawless FFA game on the fan favorites. There's no way to say this with an F in the front. It's the Mongols. Let's have a look at the military count. Look at that. Absolutely insane. Get out of here, game. Look at that absolutely insane military count at the end of the game there. Up to 220-ish max military. That is incredible. What a game right there from Puppy Paw. But very well played. 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 8 seconds. Almost 3 seconds off having the quintuple one. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Hopefully you folks over on YouTube have enjoyed this one. A little bit anticlimactic there, but don't worry. They'll get him in the next one.